How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Welcome to the 23rd edition of today's forecast. We're all going to die, where I love to go out of my way to make fun of the media. Interesting times we're living in. So this is my first one that I'm doing with the new president and his administration in office. You know, I don't do politics because I believe that, you know, at the end of the day, you got to make the best moves that you can, no matter who's in the White House, governor's house, and mayor's house. Because there's people in this country that can't even legally vote, but they own a lot of businesses, and they own a lot of real estate. So they own the assets. They own the services that make the world go round, make the country go round, to say the least. So it's interesting. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so today's forecast, we're all going to die. So certain things are happening around the country that people will, that we're not trying to be, I like to say, financially astute, and to think outside of the box of just, you know, having a job and paying bills will feel the pressures more. The last 2 years, specifically 2023 and 2024, the cost of everything has gone up tremendously, especially food. So I don't care if you have kids, don't have kids, all of our grocery bills have gone up. But, you know, you got to think outside of the box. You got to look for more sales. You have to utilize credit cards that have cashback rewards and points, things of that nature, so that you're getting the best bang for your buck. Go to grocery stores that have the best sales going on, plus, you know, able to get points for gas, things of that nature, because, you know, inflation is one thing that none of us can control, no matter how rich we become. So we have to brace ourselves for that. And the time frame now that we're living in 2025, if you've been a person who's been smart enough to save your money, invest your money, increase your skill set and increase your income and increase your assets, then you might feel that you will be feeling the pinch like everybody else, but you will not be feeling the punch as bad as everybody else that just decided to just go to work and come home and pay bills and live a basic, boring Brady Bunch lifestyle. Now, why do I say this? Well, I say this because reality is real, and the reality is here in regards to cost of living. And, you know, you've seen my program, my broadcast, you know, we're living in a time where, you know, being able to, you know, not being people who not being able to afford to buy a home, not being able to even afford to buy a brand new car is becoming a thing of the past for a lot of regular, everyday working people. So that's why I said it's like, yes, when inflation's already bad, but now we're dealing with a thing called tariffs. Now, remember, when I talk about this stuff, I'm not talking anything for or against any particular politician. That's up to you to decide who you voted for, who you want to vote for. I don't care about that stuff. Because of this, like I said, I'm a grown man. The only thing I want to argue about, I don't argue over sports and politics. I argue over the best ways to increase my asset portfolio. Okay. So, Trump signs extraordinary new tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. And with these tariffs, it's a long promised economic policy in regards to aim at curbing the flow of drugs and undocumented immigrants into the United States of America. They potentially risk substantial price increases for American consumers across a wide array of common goods, from avocados to sneakers to cars. Now, remember the words potentially. So that means that there's not a guarantee that this will happen, but if it does happen, we'll know why it happens. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, I don't know why Canada's. It's not like we had that many illegal immigrants coming. I mean, I'm sure there are that come through Canada and whatnot, but again, China. It's just like, okay, well, it's harder to get here legally from China than it is from Mexico and Canada. So I'm gonna leave that alone. That's why I said it's like this is a lot of speculation for now. Not a fan of the Trump administration, but wasn't really a fan of the Biden administration either. So I'll leave it at that. I don't care for politicians, period. So, and the way things are nowadays, it just seems like they're just out there, just make people's regular working people's lives harder than it needs to be. But that's just my personal opinion, because rich people are going to do what they're going to do. But anyways, the main reason why I'm talking about this is because the conversation to me, once again, coming at this from I don't care about politics nonsense, because I don't like politicians. I'm coming at this from a standpoint of a lot of financial experts have always talked about most Americans, and this has been going for decades, regardless of who's in the White House, Governor's House, or Mayor's House. Let's not make this political. Let's keep it purely economic. How most Americans cannot afford a $500 to $1,000 bill. So you have a lot of Americans nowadays that can't even afford to barely scrape by, or they can't. And it's been like this for years now, especially since the economic downturn of 2008. Cannot afford to, unless they have, 3 families living in one house, afford to buy a house, being able to afford to have a $500 to a $5,000 bill. And then, of course, another thing to take into consideration is that, you have a lot of people that cannot afford to, nowadays, heck, even go out to eat like that. It's like go to a bar. It's just like, great example. So before I even go into my example, so if most people can't afford that, then why would the price of goods going up would hurt more and more working Americans, regardless of the situation, regardless if you're for a president or not. We're just talking the numbers. That's why I said, look at the money, look at the numbers. Everything else is purely entertainment at this time. So that's why I say, today's forecast, we're all going to die, because it's like, well, how come, more and more Americans don't think about these things? Most of everyday working Americans are 1 paycheck to 3 paychecks away from being homeless, because they can't or don't have enough significant savings, can't or don't have enough significant access to capital, can't or don't have enough, their incomes are not meeting inflation, or not keeping up with inflation. These are things to take into consideration. These are definitely things to take into consideration. But what do I know? That's what I always say. What do I know? And let me know in the chat. Can you afford a $500 bill? Can you afford a $1,000 bill without, going broke? If your car breaks down, if you have a medical issue, even if you have insurance, can you afford these things? Because life happens. Eventually, things are going to happen. Do you have access to the capital? Do do you have a significant savings? If you're a homeowner, because a lot of people are opting out of even being a homeowner because it's like, hey, I might be able to afford to put the down payment. I might be able to afford to, clothes and all that good stuff. But can I afford to replace the HVAC system? Can I afford to, which is very expensive of a home? Can I, afford to replace any other appliances within the home? Replace the roof, things of that nature. A lot of people can't. That's why a lot of people have opted out of just saying, you know what, I'd rather just, do the crazy thing of just be a renter for the rest of my life. And that's why, hence, you have a generation that is coming up of generational renters. I'll be right back because, of course, now my dog wants to go he needs to use the restroom. So I'll be back in 1 second, family. All right, sorry about that. All right, duty calls. Reminded why I should not go live with my dog in the room. But it's all good. Love him to death. Anyways, so that is what that in. At the end of the day, the new policy is supposed to represent a reversal of virtually duty-free trade among the 3 North American nations that's existed for several years, and the expansion of a frosty trade war between China and the United States that has escalated over the course of the past 2 administrations. Trump has reportedly promised over the past several months the tariffs will amount to a significant 25% duty on all imports from Mexico and most goods from Canada, and 10% tariff on Chinese goods imported into the United States. The tariffs will have no exemptions, and the executive order, so-called loophole that had allowed shipments of $800 or less to come into the United States tax-free, a key provision used by many American small businesses, but also Chinese companies. Officials said that the loophole prevented officials from properly inspecting those packages. So it's a lot of rhetoric. We'll see what happens. That's all I can say about that. And at the end of the day, I talk about these things because it's like, okay, do you have your economic house in order? Do you have your team in order? Are you thinking outside of the box? Are you and your friends discussing money? Because a lot of people don't. They only discuss money in regards to how much they have and how much they don't have. Are you putting forth the effort to say, hey, what are we going to do? Or even trying to collab and, with anybody in regards to anything? Because unfortunately, most working people's circle nowadays is just how much they can outcompete somebody, outshine somebody, instead of collaborate with somebody. So therefore, you think you have a circle of people, but you really just have competition. That's why I don't vibe with too many individuals, because instead of wanting to be a partner, they want to be competition. And yet and still call themselves my friends. I don't understand that, but whatever. I digress. All right. Let's go into the next one. Alrighty. Today's forecast: we're all gonna die. Now, unfortunately, on a serious note, thoughts and prayers go out to all the people who have died in these horrific plane crashes. So I'm an avid traveler. I would never make fun of anybody, of anybody's death in regards to, unfortunately, what's happened. It happened in my backyard with the helicopter and the American Airlines plane. So this was crazy. But the main reason why I'm bringing this up is because people have to. I'm using this as an example of people have to stop letting fear allow them to live their life. Over the past couple of years, I did not realize how many people were actually scared to get on an airplane. And because of these unfortunate, catastrophic events that have happened, horrific events that have happened, that's why I said would never make a joke and make light of what has happened in the skies lately. Now, the stupidity of somebody saying that DEI was the cause of this nonsense, that's another story for another day. Like I said, I'm not a fan of politicians. But I will say that too many people are scared to see this planet because they're scared to get on an airplane, because they're scared to die. And what has happened lately shows that, yes, the threat of one maybe dying from flying in the air is possible. But the threat of you dying the moment you walk outside of your house is possible. The threat of you not waking up tomorrow is possible. Unfortunately, the events that have happened in California with the brush fires, a lot of people lost their homes and will never be able to rebuild. May never be able to rebuild again, because some people the homes they lived in, they didn't own, they rented, or some people who own the homes outright, they did not have insurance on the property, which is sad. Because if I own a house outright and all I have to do is worry about the personal property tax, even though it's California, so I'm sure whatever the personal property taxes are, it's going to be like having a mortgage. But I would still try my best to have some sort of homeowner's insurance, if possible. But even then, from the research I've done, even trying to be able to get the right amount of homeowners insurance coverage in California, because one thing California and Florida have in common is it's hard to get homeowners insurance, and it's hard to get homeowners insurance for the specific natural disaster events that happen. For Florida, it's always the hurricanes, flooding. California, it's fires and earthquakes. So, that's the one thing that those states have in common. But The moral of the story is you have to have your economic house in order. We can't let we all get too busy and too comfortable, and I'm guilty of this myself, of just letting things be and not checking on certain things to ensure that that everything is going to be okay and that you're covered for the just in case something happens. I mean, like life insurance, especially if you have a family, should be priority number one. Things of that nature. But the moral of the story is, stop letting fear dictate how you live your life. I mean, I had a friend, a great example, drove his family from Houston, Texas to Orlando, Florida, because he is scared to fly. And because of these horrific events that have happened lately, now he definitely doesn't want to get on an airplane, because his whole thing is, see, I told you, that's why I'll never get on an airplane. I was like, yeah, well, you can get in a car or two and still die, but what do I know? So that's the moral of the story of that, because I'm just like, you do the math of how long it takes to drive from Houston, Texas to Orlando, Florida. And he could have took his family on a plane and they would have been there in 2 hours. With his wife and 2 children, by the way. But I digress. But life is too short. Life is precious. Get busy living or get busy dying. I really can't put it any other way. All right, next edition. Today's forecast. We're all going to die. ICE raids since Trump became president has gone up. And it's with any new thing, there has been a gift and a curse. All right. So, and it just makes me sound like a jerk, then I'm a jerk. If anybody's being targeted because of their specific ethnicity, that's just wrong, period. No argument from there. I'm not a fan of racism in any aspect, in any way, and whatnot. So that's just number one. So I got to get that off my chest. Because there's been stories of people who are here legally and been taken back to their home country or other countries that they're not even citizens of and they've never been to. But then there's stories of, hey, certain criminals and gang members. One of my best friends, he works for ICE. And, his whole thing is, not his whole thing. The law is like, hey, ICE is a law enforcement entity. They are a specific law enforcement entity of the federal government that is supposed to detain, arrest, and deport illegal immigrants, specifically illegal immigrants who commit crimes. He's an investigator for them. And, for the last 4 years, it seemed like open borders. I remember seeing videos of people, and it wasn't just, people from Latin America. It was people from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. It was just open season. People even from Eastern Europe were coming over the U.S.-Mexican border because it was open. And now, in a sense, ICE is allowed to do their job, but I would hope that they are doing their jobs correctly. If somebody shows that they have legal documentation to be in this country, then they should be obviously left alone as long as they haven't broken the law. But obviously, if you're not here legally, you're not supposed to be here. So I'm not going to feel sorry for somebody who's broke the law of the nation. I've been to Canada, not 2 countries. I've been to Canada twice in the last 2 years, and when it comes to getting into Canada and leaving Canada, they don't play. And I would imagine my home country, the United States, should be the same way. So I'll leave it at that. But and that's just what it is. At the end of the day, it's just like Americans are very strong people. Americans are very willful people. That's why we're the number one country that people want to come to, because moves can be made. And it's the year is starting off rough. We just got to see where things go. But my mindset is, hey, resilient people always make it through the hardest times. And if you believe that you are a resilient person, do what you got to do in this world and keep moving forward. That's the best way I can put it. All right. Okay. Today's forecast. We're all going to die. Oops, let me hold on a second, see what's going on with this. My bad. Article disappeared. Let me get it back. All right, so we'll discuss that. Only got one more item. Oh yes, so telework has been tampered with. Excuse me a second. Telework has been tampered with for a minute now, and now certain policies are saying no and nay and boo to the federal government workforce being able to telework. And my mindset is the biggest issues, in my personal opinion, I could be wrong, that are facing the United States of America is, I say law and order, because crime rate is very important, but job market. People forget that the United States never really recovered from the economic downturn of 2007 and 2008, from people losing their jobs, pensions, the quality of life. The homeless population has increased tremendously. And a lot of people, especially I would specifically say the 80s babies, most 80s babies cannot afford to retire because one, pensions are a thing of the past and you have pension plans. But then number two, I just got to keep it real. Most people have become financially intelligent later in life instead of earlier in life. So a lot of people are going to work themselves into a grave, or a lot of people by the time to where they can't actually work at all anymore, they're going to be to the point where they have to either live with their kids, live with a family member, or rent out a room someplace, or just fortunately pass away or be homeless. And that is one of the saddest things. It's like telework is not a threat to the United States of America. People working from home, especially they have it so they can have a better quality of life, spend more time with their kids, still be effective at their job, save gas money, save wear and tear in their vehicle, and be able to take care of certain personal issues much more quicker instead of be stuck in the office when they don't really have to be. A guy said to me the other day, he's like, "This is not life." And unfortunately, people's quality of life have been tampered with for no apparent reason. And the thing is, and let's just throw this out there: if people can't afford to go shop, if things get to the point where the only thing people can afford to do is go pay their bills and get food from the grocery store, and can't afford to go out to a restaurant, can't afford to go out to a bar, can't afford to fly anywhere, can't afford to rent a car, can't afford to go on vacation, can't afford Airbnb, can't afford a hotel, then the U.S., in a sense, could financially collapse. Now, I'm not going to act like I am an economist and I know it all, but I know one thing about the U.S. economy. If people aren't spending their money, because as a friend of mine, Mike Macklin, told me, and I need to get on his podcast again, he said, remember, if you don't have a plan for your money, everybody else in this country does, regardless who's in the White House, governor's house, mayor's house. Case in point, he named every single holiday that stores make money from. Like Valentine's Day is around the corner. Valentine's Day, birthdays, Christmas, retirement parties, retirements, weddings, funerals, anniversaries. All these things require people to spend, for the most part, money. And it's not talked about enough. That somebody has planned for your money. And then, of course, then your regular bills that you have just to get by, food, home maintenance, wear and tear, maintenance on your vehicle, medical bills. There's a plan for your money the moment it's deposited into your account. So you are supposed to be a part of that plan in regards to when the money hits your account. Whether you like or don't like Robert Kiyosaki, he said this, one of my favorite quotes. He said, look, you're supposed to pay yourself first. That means when you get your paycheck, you're supposed to be saying, okay, this is what I want to do with my money that's going to benefit me standpoint, not make me look good like spending it on crap. I'm going to invest my money here, put it in these specific assets here, stocks, bonds, real estate, cryptocurrency, whatever the case may be, annuities, retirement accounts, other brokerage accounts, whatever the case may be. I need to have plans for my money before my money goes into the other places that I know that they have to go to in order for me to be stabilized. But a lot of people don't want to think outside of that box. Deep times we're living in. The truth always comes out regardless of the situation. That's what I said. It always comes out regardless of the situation. But are you willing to are you able to go for it? That's all I can say. Are you willing to even study, think about the information that's out there, execute $5 here and there before you trying to execute $5 here and there in the stock market? Not stock market, with the lottery and with any other gambling like Vegas and things of that nature. Only you can answer that question. I can't. But I digress. We'll see where things end up, in this life. I think it'll be interesting no matter how you slice and dice it. We'll see how things end up. But, this is what, and like I said, what's happened lately just reminds me why the whole trying to become an entrepreneur thing just became so popular, specifically from 2017 till now. Because people want to have a life that they're excited about, and that's great. And people want to be able to live life more on their terms and not their employer's terms. The whole expat movement, and if you don't know what that means a lot of Americans or other Westerners moving to quote unquote places that are considered to be third world countries because they are a remote worker or they make money online. People don't realize a lot of people from America, Canada, and Europe live in Central and South America as a remote worker. The Caribbean, they live in parts of Asia and parts of Africa as a remote worker. Because the money goes much further, they're able to save more money and invest more money than they would if they lived in the United States or any other Western nations. And that's becoming more of a thing. And my mindset is nothing wrong with that, because this whole, I remember one time, this is back when I first started doing YouTube, so one guy was like, good, nobody needs you. Some jerk that lived in Georgia, good riddance or some crap like that. Like it's a crime to be an American and want to live elsewhere. It's like these closed-minded people, my mindset is all cultures can be appreciated, all parts of the world can be appreciated. It's all about what you want to do at the end of the day. But get rid of those liabilities in your life, family. That's the main thing. Get rid of those liabilities. So those are the things that are always, and I mean always, going to hold you back. So, but I digress. So tomorrow I'll be working on Larry's Anything Goes store. But it's been a minute, so like I said, we're going to keep this train going and just see what happens from there, family. So either way, hopefully you guys just enjoyed today's 23rd edition of today's forecast. We're all going to die. Things are getting more interested, things are getting more heated, but as they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. stay ready, family, because it's always going to go down in the town where you reside. So, and the quote Busta Rhymes, and the last album I think I remember buying, "It Ain't Safe No More." But was it ever really safe? Only you can answer that question. All right, family, do the great DP things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day, and as I always say, make money moves or you're gonna live broke like a fool, as they say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. But we're gonna make it through this, and I'm always optimistic because I have no choice to be. And by the way, happy Black History Month, by the way. All right, happy Black History Month. I'm going to do a segment next weekend on Black history, and I figured I'd, let it get a weekend and talk about a couple of my favorite Black history stories and a couple of my Black history facts, and give some perspective, and bring yours, put it in the comment section, and go from there. On that note, family, take care, and I'm out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot, to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another, and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program, and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day.
like now.